Hey everyone again. This is Cameron of Bubbles is Off 46853 with another review. I didn't be here on October because none of those movies really piqued my interest. But I'm here this time with Ratatoing. I wasn't originally going to do this because I was just horror stories of many different accounts of it. But two things changed my mind. One, Joshua and the Promised Land, and the Rap City Street Kids Believe in Santa. After seeing those, this one shouldn't be as bad by comparison, right? Well, it isn't bad, but it sure as heck is boring. How so? Well, it's time for Cameron's critique of Ratatoing. Now, for those of you who haven't heard of this video, how have you found this one? Anyway, background. It's by Video Brinquedo, a Brazilian company that makes its name known for cheap, straight-to-video rip-offs of Disney and Pixar and DreamWorks stuff. For this film, they found Ratatoing, an utter masterpiece that introduced me to Patton Oswalt. If you haven't seen it yet, please go do it. Get your family and have a wonderful night together just watching the movie. Just don't do it on an empty stomach. This movie, however, don't watch it on a full stomach. And how? Why is that? Let's get started and find out. The movie takes place in Rio de Janeiro. The first thing we see is that famous statue of Jesus. Just remember that story of the footprints in the sand. You'll make it through this. Our narration is done by Mike Pollock, a voice actor for 4Kids Entertainment, whose most famous role, at least to me, is that of Dr. Eggman. And the English versions of these movies were done by 4Kids Entertainment, at least the voice actors. And unfortunately, even though I grew up with those guys, it won't save this movie. Anyway, Robotnik here tells us that the restaurant shares the name with the movie, and it's owned by the world-famous chef Marcel Toine, who only uses the freshest ingredients. And also, Marcel is voiced by Wayne Grayson, doing Cyrus Truesdale from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. I'm sure you remember that guy! Anyway, an old rat... Did I mention that they were all rats? They are. He gives his presents while showing us a horrible encounter with the Joker. I mean, look at that smile. It's not natural in the slightest. He either had extreme plastic surgery or had a bad time with the clown prince of crime. Anyway, it could be said about everyone in that movie if you think about it, and if the camera angle is just right. And while we sit here watching the customers, nothing happens. Nothing of real importance happens for like the first 8 minutes of the movie. And while all this nothing is going on, I will say this. The 3D models of the rats, to me at least, seem kind of cute, but only when they're stuck still. Once you put in motion, their mouth just goes all over the place. And it's just very unnatural. And, I just can't stop staring at it. It's just eerie. Too bad the Halloween lists are over, because this is perfect Halloween material. And finally, after a bit, we have our waiter. His name doesn't really matter. Do you really care about his name? It's, asking about what the secret... We're being harassed about what the secret ingredients for the food are. Well, I'm sure you must know something, persists a rat, voiced by Dan Green. Marcel comes out to the aristocratic table. Unfortunately, that pun was in the movie. I didn't write that. To answer some of the questions, saying that the dishes are made with lots and 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 lots of hard work and determination. Dedication and care. That's like 8 lots. How many cars do you think you can fit in there? Marcel notices that one of the rats at that table had a notepad. They say it's an autograph book to save face, but even though it was formatted to be a list, he doesn't really catch on at all. Anyway, these four at this table are the villains of the movie, I think. And they were hoping to snag the formula for the benefit of the Chum Bucket, their restaurant. We cut back to our heroes, who are also secret agents. Yeah, there's like a whole minute and a half spent to them suiting up and doing poses. And sure, they do, in the English version they do the while they pose. Actually, in the original it was completely silent. Just thought you'd want to know. Anyway, where was I? And there's generic music going on. At least it's better than the no music at all that was going on for the first entire section of this movie. Seriously, there was nothing going on. Look back if you want. Actually, don't. Enough of that, let's get back to this. We cut back to the villains arguing about how they've wasted time and money trying to get the secret from Ratatoing. One of them suggests that they destroy his reputation, but wait. Where did the background go? No, seriously, the background is just missing. Are we just going to ignore the giant empty void behind her? And also, Dan Green voice Rat's cane just sliding while looking at her briefly. It just seems weird. Yeah, those aren't giving names, and I'm not going to give them names for simplicity's sake, because you know what they say, once you name it, you start getting attached to it. And with something like this, you don't want that. Anyway, back with our named characters, they sneak into a human kitchen to steal their ingredients, which is how they've been doing so good. And with this, I realize the entire movie is based on Ratatouille's teaser trailer. Yeah. The one that doesn't have any footage from the actual movie whatsoever, that just has Remy trying to get a piece of cheese. That's all it is. That's all that the entire movie is done. You know that Pixar movies don't just keep it straight. They do something a little unexpected with it that is truly kept surprise until the actual movie comes out. You know how it is. And, the rat with the missing background walks back inside the restaurant and discovers the trio doing their thing and goes to tell the others while it awkwardly fades to black. Were they expecting a commercial break or something? What's the point of that? And also they do it again about 15 seconds later, so one of many unanswerable questions in this world. Speaking of which, how do you make a week's worth of dishes from just one strawberry? It isn't even a big one. And she goes out and tells them all, and after a stupid rat Bond going on Missions Impossible comment, they plan to make things harder for our heroes. They do this by... Wait a second. That other female rat, her hair is clipping through the back of her head, and by extension, mouth. If you pause it just right, you can see it. It's freaky. I'm surely not the only person that notices these things. And then again, I'm sure someone else has noticed it and done it in their review, but by the time I'm recording this, none of their reviews happened. So, any jokes I might have somehow been the same with another reviewers are pure coincidence. Right, the defective turret? Right. Anyway, they go there to try to scare the rest of the, humans by dancing or something? I think that's what's happening. Or they're just padding. Who knows? Cut it out, you don't miss anything, because they just run up to the humans, knock on their heels, and cause them to react in fear like, ah! Well, which, yeah, just balancing on the balls of their feet, not moving anywhere, and just standing there. That is the true reaction to fear that everyone does. Truly, this is how humans react. And anyway, after them doing that I'm waiting in line at the bathroom dance, the humans decide to beef up security with some mouse traps. And after some more awkward fades, a week has passed and the customers are bored of Strawberry. It's time for them to go on another mission. The animation was recycled, but thankfully shortened as they get ready to head back to the human kitchen. There are cheese traps everywhere, and they are promptly ignored after the first one. Marcel then discovers a large bar of chocolate, and we just struggle to watch him lift it for about 30 seconds, with no music. As soon as he lifts it, he notices what is that thing? Is that supposed to be a cat? I mean, it meows and it has slit pupils, but it has a long face and runs on 2 legs, and what are these proportions? Either way, this thing prevents them from getting the chocolate, and they're running lower and lower on fresh ingredients. The customers are really thinning out, and our evil quartet is surprisingly not benefiting from this. Their food is still crap, and the customers are really thinning out, and they nominate Dan Green to go get some food from the kitchen while Marcel goes to get more food from the kitchen that night. The 3 named rats do the suiting up segment again, though for some reason it's twice as long as the shortened one, and go off into the kitchen, with the 2 male rats from that group following close behind. The, one jarringly abrupt scene change in a jar that just vanishes. He tries distracting the cat, which isn't there. He says that he checked everywhere for it, but all he did was jump loudly, yeah. He didn't move from that spot, anyway. And either way, he distracts the cat, which turned out to be directly behind him, while the others get some food. Also, that green rat keeps doing that precisely noise, and it's like the 3rd time it's done. And it's said the exact same way. It's like that one sound clip in Sword in the Stone. You know the one. The other 2 named rats are cornered, and the 2 male ones of the evil by the male ones from the evil quartet. And the villains are quickly subdued by Marshall riding on a cat. Don't ask, we're almost done with this. The point is, Marshall and the cat are now friends. Everything wraps up, 2 more uses of precisely, with the second one with the last version of those just having no need for it whatsoever. And it just ends. So that was an odd trip that we just went on. But if you ask me, it felt more like a snooze cruise. In conclusion, you're better off watching a YouTube poop of this movie than the actual movie. You'll get more enjoyment out of that than the actual source material. And after seeing this, I actually respect those that dive into this dumpster to try to find clips to edit them and massacre them into whatever else happens in YouTube poops. People still make those, right? Yeah. Anyway, the music is either generic or non-existent. The animation just drags on longer than it should, and the story is rather uninspired. The voice actors do try to do what they can to salvage that, at least from what I can tell, but it doesn't save it. It's bland and it left a bad taste in my mouth. It's kind of like taking a huge gulp of mineral oil. It's just there, until you realize the crap that you have to deal with a little later on. With that disturbing comparison said, I'd like to give my Thanksgiving thanks to all of you watching, to Bob Show for doing this guest show thing, and hoping we see each other soon. And hopefully the Christmas one will be a happier movie this time. Please be Rudolph. Please be Rudolph. Okay, see ya!